Bayou time, a new tropical storm forms in the Gulf of Mexico. Also, we'll have the phone lines open 879-1231 as candidates begin to qualify for statewide and local elections. Qualifying ends tomorrow, September the 8th. That's all next tonight on Bayou Time.
Deep in the heart of the bayou, we are gathered here tonight. Now it's time for action, 'cause our lives are on the line. Tonight we'll do our very best to break through all the bureaucratic mess. The time has come tonight, 'cause it's Bayou time. Show 'em what Louisiana's all about.
This Bayou Time is hosted by local attorney Jason Dagate.
Hello once again and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm Jason Dagate. Thank you for joining us. And just when we think we have sort of stepped back a few steps and start to have some normalcy regarding the tropic season, now another tropical storm forms in the southern Gulf of Mexico. The preliminary results are showing that it will go into Mexico, but as we learned with the last one, we still have to monitor it, and this is Tropical Storm Nate, and these are the conditions as of 4 p.m. on Wednesday. As we're taping Bayou Time live right now at Wednesday, it's 6:03, and these are the latest coordinates and movements and positions regarding Tropical Storm Nate. And I believe we have another graphic that shows, basically the storm forming and also the projected path. If we can get Jason to pull that up for us in just a second. We'll show you, the cone of uncertainty, if you will, regarding where they expect this thing to go. It's really a wide margin, which is what we saw with Tropical Storm Lee when it was a tropical depression or a wave. They really didn't know where the thing was headed for a while. So we'll have to monitor it closely. Even if it goes into Texas, we don't know, depending on the size of the storm, if we'll have some effects here. A lot of you and a lot of us still dealing with the effects of Tropical Storm Lee. All we can do, we hate to wish it on somebody else, but hope and pray that it, gives us some time for our ground to soak in some of the water and the water that's come in to recede. As there are still areas where water is very high and above normal, and going down towards Lower Lafourche Parish, off towards Grand Isle, a lot of water still near the road in some of those areas. So we hope that this one will pass us by, but we just wanted to bring you that information. And when we come back a little later on, we'll show you the other graphics to show you the cone of uncertainty. As always, just stay posted to local media regarding Tropical Storm Nate. With that, let's take you to Sergeant Kyle Faulk, who our cameras caught up with today regarding last night there was a traffic stop that really led into a police chase. And to elaborate more on that story is Sergeant Kyle Faulk with the Houma Police Department.
On Tuesday night at approximately 11:30 p.m., officers with the Houma Police Department were dispatched to the area of Morgan and Hobson Street in reference to a possible disturbance. Upon arrival, the complainant advised that a white male subject in a maroon Scion 2008 model, maroon in color, had almost struck her in the roadway. She then pointed out to officers the suspect, who was parked just down the street. When officers attempted to stop the subject on foot, he then fled in the vehicle, which ultimately led our officers on a high-speed pursuit. The subject disobeyed numerous traffic signals while traveling in and out of the city limits of Houma, at which time the Houma Police Department were assisted with the assistance of the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office and the Louisiana State Police. A deputy attempted to deploy spike strips in an attempt to stop the vehicle and end the dangerous pursuit, and at which time the suspect barreled down on the officer at a high rate of speed. The pursuit finally ended in the Crumbar neighborhood off of Highway 311 when the suspect became boxed in. He also struck several patrol cars in the process of trying to weave in and out of the units to escape. The suspect was identified as Jimmy Billiot, white male, 38 years of age, from 711 Funderburk Avenue. He was charged with driving while intoxicated, aggravated flight from an officer, littering, 2 counts of criminal damage to property, criminal trespassing, driving under suspension, 2 counts of resisting an officer by violence, battery on a police officer, no proof of insurance, no seatbelt, and 1 count attempted murder of a police officer.
And in other local Terrebonne Parish news, if you've driven around the city of Houma since Tropical Storm Lee has come and gone, you've noticed that there's a lot of traffic congestion going towards the tunnel, much of which is caused because of the Houma Navigation Bridge having to be closed because of the high water from Tropical Storm Lee. They're making some repairs on the bridge, and it's caused some traffic congestion in the city of Houma. To talk about what the Houma Police Department is doing to help alleviate some of the traffic problem, here is Sergeant Kyle Faulk.
Due to the high water from Tropical Storm Lee and the Houma Navigational Bridge still being out for vehicular traffic, the Houma Police Department has instituted a traffic plan which will be conducted between the hours of 4:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. If you are traveling eastbound on the overpass, headed to the east side at the foot of Grand Kaya Road, you will be forced to turn south onto Grand Kaya Road. You will not be allowed to head on Main Street, nor will you be allowed to turn left to go on to the Park Avenue Road. Also, travelers headed westbound will be forced onto the overpass to the west side, will not be allowed to turn on down south onto Grand Kaya Road. This plan has been put in operation to alleviate some traffic congestion. As you can see on the maps, it's diagrammed out which directions you may travel. Also note that we will be shutting down 1 turn lane at Grand Cayenne Tunnel, the turn lane headed to the west side, which has been causing a bottleneck effect and causing extensive traffic accidents at that location. Therefore, with the congestion that we're looking at right now, we're going to shut down 1 of those lanes in attempts to alleviate that problem. Also, we'd also ask that all the drivers have extreme caution. The Houma Navigational Bridge should be up and operational by Friday sometime.
All right, there you have it. So again, it's the Department of Transportation and Development that is working on repairing that bridge, as it's a state highway. And as Sergeant Kyle Faulk mentioned, they hope to have it repaired by Friday, and certainly we hope that that happens. If you've driven around, as I mentioned, Houma, the city of Houma, or East Houma towards the tunnel, you've seen the bottleneck of traffic because all of the traffic has to either go over the overpass or the tunnel if you want to get from one side of the canal to the other. With that, let's take a look at Tropical Storm Nate once again. And here is the forecast for the I-path. And again, expected to go into Mexico. There was one report that it would then head at the end of that cone there, then take a jog north, was one of the uncertainty models that was shown. So obviously we hope that doesn't occur, because we don't want to see it go into Texas at all, because if the thing grows big, we all know what could happen here locally in St. Mary, Lafourche, and Terrebonne Parish, as well as Grand Isle. So we'll remain and continue to follow that story as well as it develops. As you know, the crew here at HTV, Martin and his staff, work countless hours to bring you information with public officials and candidates who are running for office. We're invited to come on to talk about the flood protection that we have, what we can do to make it better, and what has been done to keep water out of people's homes from the last storm. With that, let's take a break. Again, it's Wednesday night. We're taping live. I'm filling in for Martin False. Once again, we for the second week in a row, we flop shows. And so we'll open up the phone lines when we come back. We can also talk about the local elections going on, as qualifying will end tomorrow, September the 8th at 5 p.m. for all statewide and local elections. We've had a number of candidates begin to qualify for area races. We'll try to break that down for you if we have some time, but we'll open up the phone lines, 1231 when we return.